Do you wake up each morning brimming with excitement, overjoyed to begin a new day? Does your work satisfy and fulfill you? Are your relationships healthy and supportive? Does your lifestyle support your dream version of you? And finally, are you happy? Join Mea Voce, mystic warrior and energy goddess, as she takes you on a journey through the amazing world of energy. Harness the infinite powers of the universe and allow your real light to shine through. Anything can be yours. You only just have to believe.
And hello, beautiful people. This is Mea Voce, your host and guide to the power of 5 here on OMTimes Radio. And I am coming to you from a very misty and mystical big island of Hawaii here on Volcano. And it's just, you can tell the seasons here are shifting. I awake at 5 in the morning and now it's just pitch dark, which that goes against my clock to get up. You need a little bit of sun for me to be inspired to rise, but it is just very misty this morning and cool and just so conducive to cuddling up inside and writing as it inspires me. So anyway, hope that this is finding you in a beautiful space. Of course, we will discuss energy, and I hope that you're in a beautiful space, but this energy, my goodness, is just like it just keeps on coming. And last week we spoke about how it's this jackhammer, and my beautiful sister in Australia had shared that analogy, and certainly it just keeps on coming. So I'm going to share some thoughts about that in a moment. And we had talked last week, spoke about overwhelm from an energy standpoint. I'm going to just recap a bit of that because certainly there's a lot of overwhelm. So if you missed last week, don't worry. I'm going to bring you up to speed. And we will be talking about depression and anxiety from an energy standpoint. And I want to really stress that from an energy standpoint because that's my standpoint. It's an energy goddess energy. And bringing those into a new frame. And this is something that I'm passionate about of sharing because I think it offers a new perspective. Is one of the first workshops I created years ago now. And there's just always some interesting feedback of people sitting in there saying, yes, it's a different perspective. And it's just really so simple the way it's boiled down. Because energy really is simple. It's the humans that complicate it, right? And I just have to warn you, yes, kittens are alive and waking up and crawling all over the place. I failed to lock them up safely, so now they're coming to visit, what's going on. So I don't know if you can hear purring. No, okay, all right. Go away, little one, go play. Back to energy. So we're in this really... I'm going to just use the word dynamic frame of energy. And again, introducing that topic of overwhelm last week really, introduces this whole energy that's going on. And certainly there's lots going on, but in the most simplest fashion, we've got Mars who's going into this retro pattern beginning tomorrow. I believe it is on the 9th, and that's through November. And the way I'm interpreting that, feeling that, is because Mars is really taking this journey into the underworld. We too are taking that journey. So Mars, of course, the battles and warriors and that energy, it's the Aries energy, walking into battle. But these battles, because it's the inner journey, going into the underworld, it's this inner conflict that's popping up right now. That's really what I'm sensing, this inner struggle. So inner battles that are going. And of course, as we've spoken the last 2 weeks, we have his sister Eris, the goddess of discord and strife, who is sailing above the skies right now and very present in our night skies. So we're sandwiched in between this lovely energy of this battle, inner battle, and above the goddess of discord, strife, shaking things up, shaking the... Got to lock this little one up. Shaking up the status quo, really rocking what's out there and really asking us to sit firmly within our power and getting to where our power is. So we've got these two amazingly strong and intense and dramatic energies waving onto us right now and really pummeling us. Again, that the image I think is so accurate. And what happens then? Well, Overwhelm is one word. Stress is another word. And it's just this sense, really, of everything getting shaken up, being ripped apart, ripping open. It's just really intense energy right now. And I wish I could say it's finished tomorrow, but like I said, this is going to be with us through November. So just you can see everything mirrored out into the reality plane, how this energy is affecting everything. There's a lot of that energy of noise, of continuing shaking things up, a lot of heated emotions, things shifting still, really, really shifting dramatically. Everyone just reaching out for some sense of balance, I think, is the key word. I don't like the word normalcy because, what is normal, really? But it's a sense of balance that's been missing because everything is moving. It's sitting on that earthquake energy and everything is shifting and moving and you want it to stop. Right? You want to see things stop tumbling down. You want to see, okay, now I can move forward. And we are not there yet. There's going to be a lot more shifting. But I'm going to offer this because as I was tapping into this energy over the weekend, and I believe I mentioned this word last week, it's this word of regeneration. And I'm not even going to say I fully comprehend what that's bringing forward, but that word is coming through so strongly. And I've heard it echoed in conversations over the weekend as well, just kind of popped up. See, I'm always listening, right? Like that fly on the wall, observing what's going on. So the sense of regeneration. And I know last week I shared this image of the farmer, with that. He's plowing the fields, and you can just imagine that plow deep into the earth and really ripping those roots up and the old plants and stirring things around, right? Really bringing that which is underneath to the surface and preparing the ground for planting again. That's where we're at right now. So yes, there's a lot of shaking up, and yes, there's a lot of shifting, but it is that sense of planting. So really feeling that things will start next month to make themselves known. This month, I feel, is really the most intense of this energy. And then next month, all of these little seeds that have been planted for months now will start to pop up, and you'll find yourself really in a new place. If you don't sense that already, maybe physically, in this reality plane, it's not feeling like we're in a new place, but something within you is new. This energy of regeneration, of rebirth, is waiting to come out and wants to be born. So we're going to see that really in October and November for sure. And then by the end of the year, the energy will shift again. So if we're not digging this, and I'd love to hear from someone who's really enjoying the energies from now as we continue throughout the year. But that is the purpose. Remember, we're here always with energy for a purpose. And this energy present is to shake things up, continue to shake things up so that new things can grow. And as we're moving forward in the world, really consciously think what you'd like to plant in your own proverbial gardens. What would you like to see sprout? Because again, that's the energy right now. So let's just do some thinking and, try to be calm. Just share with you that it's not been the calmest morning here in this household. It's just this, school just doesn't start. And I do know that there are some who've actually ventured into a building. We're past Labor Day now. But here in Hawaii, no, that is not the case. Everything is pretty much shut. As you would, that can be a little bit trying. I don't believe anyone's really meant to stare at a computer all day, and it's challenging for grown-ups, isn't it, right? Who really likes to sit and stare at a computer all day? But for these little ones that need to be moving and playing outside in fresh air, it's just very challenging. So let's just take a collective breath for moms that are still at home, children that are still at home, and know that, you know what? We're all here in this same boat, and why I thought how appropriate to let's talk about depression and anxiety and have talked about overwhelm because that's what's going on. Let's be honest. Like, this is just not happy go lightly, skip and have fun time, isn't it? This is just intense stuff, and we're all feeling it. Like, I was conversing with a dear friend of mine over the weekend, who was expressing these same emotions. Look, it's just getting harder and harder, really, to deal with this stuff. And I said, yes, welcome to the club. We are all here together. And all I can say is as we were discussing last week with overwhelm, remember I was sharing that overwhelm is rather like, again, from an energy standpoint, you've got 30 bowling balls all in the air at once, and you look up and you see them and you go, oh darn, those are going to fall on my head all at once together. That kind of summarizes overwhelm, when it really is dealing with too many things and trying to put all of these things into one neat little calm basket. And that just doesn't happen. So what I suggested is we step away from the descending bowling balls that are going to crush us with that weight. And we instead visualize just one little, soft pink little ball in our hands that's lovely to look at. And we can put all of our love and focus just in that moment with that one thing. And really getting around overwhelm is about being in the now. And we're going to talk about more of that with depression and anxiety, but such a huge tool for many energetic states that can bring us into that place of too much energy is really bringing our focus down into this now and into that one moment, because it really is just this one moment that exists, and within this moment that we can create. I had offered, if you're not used to dealing with that now and being present, there's a very basic exercise to just trick your mind into being there. So make a cup of tea and say, I'm drinking a cup of tea, and just say that over and over. So you're keeping your mind focused on that present action and nothing else. You're like keeping it entrained. You're saying, you're not going to think about dinner. You're not going to think about next week, next year. No, you're only thinking about this exact moment. You're drinking that cup of tea or whatever you'd like to do. But it has to be something that is not taking up your mind. You're not reading a book, because then you're bringing those thoughts and images into your mind. So it has to be something almost mindless. So drinking a cup of tea is beautiful. Or coffee, if you prefer. I vacillate back and forth, having been married to an English person for so many years. I went from coffee to tea, and now it just depends on the moment. That's it. But anyway, if you focus on that action in that now moment, it brings your attention there. And then you're not thinking about those 30 bowling balls anymore. Did I say 15 first? Now there's 30. So it's not thinking about that. You're just thinking about this moment now. And in this moment now, adding another layer, you can say to yourself, I am okay. I am breathing. I am okay. And add even another layer to raise your vibration. In this moment, I'm happy. In this moment, I'm amazing. That's my favorite one, to bring your energy up and raise your vibration. So all of these little tools, energy tools that we can keep in our basket that help us during this time. And certainly in this unprecedented time with all of these crazy things happening, and every day is different, and we can't make plans, and we can't bank on anything really right now, not even schools opening, right? It's just, we need to remember that we are energy, and that we have tools, though, at our disposal. So these are very good ones to be present into that now moment. And step away from all those balls. They don't need to be dealt with, each and every one of them, at this moment. And in fact, it's impossible, because it will bring you into that place of too much energy, that state we call overwhelm. And that's not a good place for any of us to function or to create or to be in the place to raise our vibration. So yes, lots of that going on. So as I was saying, not the smoothest morning here. Just a bit of overwhelm as well. And I can always see it reflected in my animals, my energy, because as the dominant older human in this household with a strong energy, if I'm in a state of agitation, the animals are. And sure enough, we had the two kittens going at each other, and it was just rawr, and this, and you could just see that energy reflected in them. And do remember that animals are energy beings as well, and they are absorbing your energy and they are picking up on universal energy. So, when there's a full moon and things are going a little bit crazy, your animals are feeling it too. Our one cat Angel always takes a wander all night on a full moon. That's her thing. Always comes back. She's a cat. Give her that window. She needs to be outside, in that space. So your animals, too, are part and parcel of this. And if you have lovely furry companions in your house, do remember that they are affected by energy. And the energy of your house is where they reside. So they're going to be reflective of it and acting out in a certain way. So we open the windows as I do and aired out the house, lit some incense early in the morning, and I really focused on grounding and calming the energy. And I, again, can see it reflected. I've got calm sleeping animals at this moment. Of course, here it's mid-morning, and that's what they do anyway. But no, it is a reflection of the energy. And we're in a school break, and I have put strict boundaries around this space where her mother is at this moment. If you recall, last week we had a little visitor. It was just, she comes in and helps herself because this is a home environment. And it cracks me up when people are working from home and pretend really they're not. Because I think that's where the humor lies when things are happening and we're trying to ignore it and be all professional. No, I bring you into this space because we're all in this space of working from home. And this is an unusual place to be doing work, right, of any kind. And so there's things that are going to happen. So I invite you into that space and share that with you because, heck, why not? We're all in this space together. And it is just amusing, I think. And we need all the help we can these days to just laugh a little bit. I do anyway. So I hope that you're there with me. But we're going to get back to depression and anxiety. And as I said, big topics and things that coming from an energy standpoint. So strictly energy, but it's really something that I'm passionate about because it's such a prevalent thing out in the universe. So there's my cue. We're going to take a little break.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
And hello. This is Mea Voce, your host and guide to the Power of Five here on OMTimes Radio, and coming to you from the big island of Hawaii, which is just very misty and gorgeous this morning with the smell of ginger, as I was sharing, just scented in the air. It's such a beautiful scent, and the moisture from the rain, it's just lovely. It's just truly lovely. So sharing that bit of aloha with you. And I have to add, just my clock right now, I always have something in my house that communicates to me, from a different dimension, from people who have passed. There's always something. For example, in our one house in Australia, the fire alarms went off all the time. They went off in coded number sequences. So I'm very attuned to the energy of numbers. And what I would do is I'd wake up and I would count, and there'd be patterns of numbers, and I'd jot them on my little notepad and read into what was that message, what was that energy. They were also the conduit from people who had passed. So when my grandmother passed and transitioned back into light, the fire alarm went off, and I just knew that was her saying, I'm in energy form now, and, all is good, but just letting you know. So it was a conduit. There's always something like that. And if you are in this world of energy and a light healer, or not even, just looking around your house, there might be something that grabs your attention. It will always be something that grabs your attention. It won't be something random, because then you probably wouldn't be paying attention to it, right? So for me, it's my bedroom clock, which lately has been this just conduit of information and to share with you. So the number 3 has been very popular in my realm right now. And I won't get into what that means, because we're going to stick to anxiety and depression. But just to tell you that the number 3 comes up. So my clock keeps on shifting times. It will be, one time, and then all of a sudden it'll be 3 hours in the future. And it's happening quite often. I have to say enough that, and we have changed batteries for those of you who are very practical. Yes, that's not it. And no, the clock is not dying. It is a message, I firmly believe. But now my alarm clock just reset, and I'm not really sure why, into 000, which I'm sure is a message in and of itself. Anyway, had to share that. Because there's always something interesting happening in my world, and I enjoy that, because that's what keeps it interesting, life in general. So let's get back to energy. So again, last week we started on this journey talking about overwhelm and those balls in the air, and really focusing on just one thing and focusing on the now. So I want to invite this discussion into the things we have called, I'm going to put it that way, depression and anxiety. We're just going to leave it at that. I'm going to refer to them as energy states, and really step out of all of the connotations and stigmas of those two words. So let's just bring our conversation to energy, okay, and let go of those those titles. So we have spoken before in this state that there's really 2 states of energy. You've got your heavy energy, right? That lower based energy. We're talking about fear and anger, resentment, frustration, all that fun stuff down at the bottom. It's heavy energy, and it pulls you down. And then the other end of the spectrum, you have lighter energy, a higher frequency energy. So you have love, which is the ultimate energy in that higher vibration. You've got joy. You have gratitude. All of those beautiful things, which if you even just sit with them and say those words, you should be able to feel the energy effect within your frame. If you say, I am angry, you should get a physical reaction. And this is like step 1 in some of my workshops that I've offered, is we just start there, connecting with your body. Because this dance with energy is about understanding yourself as that energy body. So feeling that, saying, I am angry, and seeing how that feels within you. I'm frustrated, which, goodness, like, who can't relate to that right now with what's going on in the world? So really feeling into it, and feeling into, where does anger, frustration, where does that present itself in your body? What is actually happening? What are the physical signs? Your hands clenched, as your jaw clenched. Do you start sweating? What is happening with you physically, so that you understand what anger is, what that energy form is within you. And then we do the opposite. So you say, I am in a joyful state. Think of something amazing that's happened, maybe when you got married, or the birth of your child, or just something that really brings your energy up. Sit in that state of grace, and again, really connect to your body and see what is happening. How do you feel? Do you feel that expansion? Because that is that end realm is expansion. Do you feel lighter? Can you feel your heart chakra opening? What is happening to you, so that you understand, again, what is that state of energy as it expresses itself with you? The other end, constriction. So we've got constriction compared with expansion. There should be a big difference, right, between those two. So really connect to your physical form. The more you do that, the more in tune you become with energy, the energy that's out there, with your own physical body, and you could begin that dialogue, that communication, what's going on within you. You are your body. We've been led to believe we're very separate beings. And now, there's science opening up and people such as myself speaking out saying, no, we are one and the same. We can communicate. We just need to learn the language and we need to listen. And it's not out of the realm if you're having, an ache in a specific spot over and over, just to connect and ask that spot. I know this sounds simplistic, but truly, this is the beginning journey, just saying, what is going on? What do you need to express? Because any ache or pain within you, that is energy that's trying to get your attention. So you can ask it and you will get feelings, you get images, you get colors, sensation, however your body communicates to you, which is the other thing you need to learn, how your body communicates to you and in what fashion. But do that more and more, and that connection is reforged so that you are one with your body and you're understanding what's going on, and you will understand when things are out of whack. It's like now when we've got this heavy, crazy energy that's driving us all a bit nutty and saying, okay, this is intense energy. It's affecting me. That's part of what's going on. All right. So we've got these two spectrums of energy, that heavier energy, that fear, and we've got the lighter energy, joy and love. But we also have two different states of energy. We have too little energy, right? When we have there's just not a lot going on, when we're tired and, you feel not motivated, just not enough energy. And then we have the other spectrum when we have too much energy. There's just too much going on within us. And those are excellent times to ground and to bring in our tools of knowing what to do when we have too much energy. But the thing is out there that generally we don't even relate to our bodies, number one. We don't relate when we have too little or too much energy. And we certainly don't have tools readily available to know what to do with those two states. So that's why we're here right now. We're going to dive into that. So too little energy and too much energy. And again, as energy beings, we need energy of the universe to fuel us. We might think we're these separate humans living in these little boxes and we're isolated, but truly we are energy beings and we are constantly in communication with the universe. Our light body is constantly communicating. Because of our physical nature, our bodies that we carry with us here, some of the information is cut off from our brain, so we can't access it right now, but our inner light being is constantly communicating. So we need to feed it, in a way of saying. We need to just have this flow of energy. You might have heard the word prana. So prana is life force energy, and it's all around us. When we do breathing exercises and we really breathe in and consciously bring in prana, when we consciously are breathing in light energy, we're fueling our light bodies. We're fueling our energy bodies. And you know what happens when we fuel our energy bodies is we feel better. We feel lighter. We get motivated. We get excited. We get inspired. All of these things are happening because we're feeding our energy body. And when we are not feeding our energy body, when we're cut off from that which feeds us and fuels us, we feel it, right? The opposite. It's hard to get out of bed. You don't feel motivated to do things that maybe once brought you joy. They're not interesting to you in that moment. You really are flat. You're like a battery that's just needs recharging. That's the opposite state when there's too little energy within us. Back to feeding our energy. I gave this example once in a workshop of using meditation as a way to fuel ourselves and to feed ourselves, clearing our mind again. And if you're not in a daily meditation practice, now there is no better time and now with what's going on to begin this type of practice, especially outside. And I'll share with you in this morning, even this bit of chaos, I always go outside. I just feel so much better because you have this expansion around you and you have the energy of the trees and the air. But back to this example from the workshop before I get off into the beautiful space before me. So I ask people, so if you're choosing to meditate and you're choosing to actively invite and bring in this prana that's around us, it does matter where you choose to go. For example, you might not choose to go to a garbage dump and sit there in that space and say, I'm now actively breathing in prana, because let's say it's not a beautiful space, because you've got a lot of elements in there that now people are viewing as trash. You have a lot of energy from people's things that are there. There might be certain smells, let's say, that aren't pleasant. So there's a lot going on there that you would think wouldn't really fuel yourself, right? Maybe it's an over-the-top example, but it does work, right? So then the opposite is I ask people and I invite you, where can you go? And if you can't go physically right now because of where we're at in the world, you can go mentally. Where is it within your soul that it calls you? Where is it in this world that you always journey to, that you like to go to? Do you have a little spot in your backyard even that really calls you? Is there a river by your house that you always find yourself wandering to when you're in a chaotic state? Is there a certain state, certain place in the world? What calls you? That's your soul saying you need to recharge there for whatever it is, whatever gift of nature is in that space. It is calling you for a reason. And so often I hear people just push those intuition, those hunches, those urges, they push them down and they logic them away. And I'm saying to you, if the world is calling you, go. And again, I know you can't travel everywhere right now, but you can visit it in your mind and you can reconnect that energy, because truly there is no thing as time and space. So you can reconnect to an energy at any time you want. And that is another purpose and a beautiful gift of meditation, is that you can connect to an energy that is fueling you. So really pay attention, really think about it now. If you're a journaling person, when we're finished in this sacred space, journal a couple things of what really is calling you. When I was visiting my uncle in Chicago, beautiful city, Chicago, yes, my city. But to me right now, a bit too city even. But behind his house, he had access to the Chicago River. And there's a beautiful spot of the river that had been refurbished and regenerated. And there was little walking paths. And you could go down to the river and there was otters there and all sorts of wildlife. And my daughter and I used to go just walking around there, and we'd find a spot and we'd sit, and even she could feel it, this beautiful energy of this space that people had put love into and made into a welcoming space for people to connect with nature. It was just lovely. And that was my escape, out of the city. But there has to be a space that calls you. And I really believe if we paid more attention to this right now and really honored what was calling us and connected to it in that space, the space in between time and space in our meditation, we need something to fuel us right now. So there, I offer that. So bringing it back to energy, of course, foods that we put into our body too are feeding us, high vibrational foods. Certainly, if I said the example of eating, a bag of fast food compared to some really fresh produce, you're going to feel different. You might feel heavier on one and lighter on the other. Again, referring to that energy, the vibration of that. So in this time, and I know quick tangent, I know a lot of us are spending time cooking right now, as we are here as well. My daughter loves to bake, and she's found a new talent, or just a new joy, I suppose, and mother here is enjoying it as well, as there always seems to be some little sweet treat laid out and sharing with our community, which always brings me joy. Seems to be a lot of cooking that's going on in houses, because I know there's not a lot of travel and other diversions right now. But we can choose still high vibrational foods and nourishing foods to honor our body and to bring us into that state of being fed and filling that void. So so what we're getting at right now is that void of energy is when we really feel empty, when that battery is not charged. That's what I feel is that we're calling depression. It's a void of energy. It's can't make it any clearer. It's a void, an emptiness of energy. And in that state of emptiness, when we're not being fed energetically, we're not being nourished, when we're not feeding our spirits, because that is truly what we are, there's this absence of energy and lack of motivation. It's a struggle to do anything physically, mentally, because there is nothing to fuel us. So then when we're in that place, and there's so many of us right now that I feel are in this place right now, and goodness, again, we're blocked from so many things that would normally fuel us. Fun summer filled with, I'm trying to describe to my daughter, who this is her first summer here in the States, and all of the wonderful state fairs and carnivals and amusement parks and all these things that I grew up with, and many of us did, that are just shuttered right now. And painting a picture, it's just very odd. Painting a picture to her of life that was only so many months ago. But as a reminder, everything passes and we will get back to that. But we're being blocked from those things right now that are really fueling ourselves. So from an energy healer standpoint, if I was working with just one person, let's say, and getting into their energy field, what I would feel is weak energy. Definitely. You can definitely feel energetically when someone is void of energy, because there is no energy to feel. Strong energy feels like prickles, feels like electricity, feels like energy. There you go. And so this is the absence of it. So I have to get very close to the energy centers, the chakras, to sense any kind of energy at all. And then I really put love and become the conduit to fuel them, to get them moving again. Many times they're stagnant, they're not moving very quickly. So really, as an energy healer, moving to get those moving again, and to be that conduit of light for that person. And what I would say to that person and share with all of you in this space, if you are sitting in this space right now, is, we need to get back to what brings us joy. What makes us smile? What gets your heart going? And often when I introduce that topic to someone in that space, it can be jarring because you're in this space of emptiness, okay, of a lack of energy. And to think about even something that brings you joy, it can be overwhelming at times. But that's really where we want to get to. That's kind of the end goal. We want to fill ourselves with energy again. We want to think about and focus on things that bring us joy so that we can raise our vibrations, so we can connect with these things that will fuel us. And recharge our batteries in that energetic way. So what is it, in your heart space that really opens that heart chakra, that really says, okay, this is why I'm here. This is a moment of beauty. This is a thing of beauty outside. So connecting to nature and really feeling that connection. What is it within your own space that can get you to smile, that can get you to feel that joy and the love, to nourish yourself? What kind of activities did you like to do that would nourish you? Excitement is a gorgeous energy. And when I myself and have advised others in that state of just emptiness, what gets you excited? Because excitement, it really jumpstarts. I'm going to put it that way. Really jumpstarts our energy. And it really can move you forward very quickly, recharging your batteries. So I put that out to all of you. What is it that really nourishes your soul? All right, so that's a perfect place to take a little break. We'll be back in a moment.
conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
In a world that has suddenly turned dark and unfamiliar, there is one light that will never go out. Allow the light of kindness and compassion to guide you. With kindness, we can all create a better tomorrow. The Be Kind Revolution, shining the light of kindness and compassion within. www.bekindrevolution.life. Become a kindness crusader today, because everyone deserves a little kindness. And hello, this is Mea Voce, your host and guide to the Power of Five here on OMTimes Radio. And we've been talking today about the very fun topics of overwhelm, depression, and anxiety coming from an energetic standpoint. And just a quick recap from last week, we were talking about overwhelm, again, visualizing that you have 30 bowling balls that are over your head and looking up. And it's that moment of looking up and realizing, oh my goodness, I'm going to be crushed by 30 bowling balls. That's a snapshot is overwhelmed. It really is trying to deal with everything at once. And so what we suggest is you just energetically step away from all of the bowling balls and you focus on one little pink, sparkly light ball where you can create it any way you want, how it looks like in your hand, and something that is just soft and precious, and you focus all of your attention on that one thing in this one now present moment. And I really can't stress enough what a powerful technique this is for like anything or any energetic state, is to bring your attention to the now. And we don't have to get metaphysical and go to the place where there's only this moment now, and it's only in this moment that you can create, that there's really no such thing as future or past. We really can go very deep into metaphysical thinking. But from just a very simplistic standpoint, from an energy standpoint, where your thoughts go, your energy goes. So if your thoughts are just on this moment, you're not allowing them to be bombarded by a million other balls and a million other events or thoughts. You're just focusing on this one thing. And I guarantee you, if you can really embody this practice and try it with me, as we're saying it right now, you'll feel the energy leave your body. You'll feel, not all of it, but I mean, the stressful one. You really feel yourself come down and calm down in that place. I really can't stress what a powerful technique this is to just be present. And that goes with anything. It's a commitment I made to my child to, as much as I'm humanly possible, because I am human and a single mother. So, not a lot of other distractions now, but to be present for her, because kids understand, don't they? They got it going on. They know Not only when you're not paying attention, but when you're looking at them and not present, because they have an innate sense of energy. So they know it. My daughter, of course, knows my faces, so I'll be looking at her and nodding, and she looks at me and she goes, "You're not paying attention." And surely, my thoughts will be elsewhere at that moment. So it's really honoring any relationship and any form of communication with any being. You honor them by offering them that respect of being present. And being present means you're being present. It means you're not thinking about dinner. You're not thinking about something else. You're not waiting for a moment to interject your thoughts. You're holding space for their thoughts, and you're just simply receiving. And we really struggle with these things, I think, and this art of holding space, the art of being present. But again, such a powerful technique. So do try it. Do more than try it. Really just commit to it and say, yes, I'm going to be present now in this conversation. You're speaking to a relative, friend, whoever it is. I am honoring this person, honoring their energy by being present and listening and holding space. And if my thoughts are needed or asked for, I will offer them, but I will not unless they are willingly received into that space. And certainly as I journey further, working with those in a state of bereavement or those in a state of transitioning, that is one of the biggest gifts I can offer, is to simply hold space and be present in their moment, because that is what it is, their moment. And even if, again, you're having a conversation with someone, it's their moment because they're sharing their energy with you, and that is a gift, which we should be grateful for. So it's being present. And we've begun talking about depression. Again, that's a word out there for something. All right. So I'm referring to it here as an energy state, as a void of energy, as an absence of energy. When we've, I don't want to say allowed as in, well, let's just say it's happened that you're in this place where you're not fueling yourself, or maybe the things that fuel you have been blocked. So your batteries really just have run down. You're in this place now of no energy, lack of motivation, and it can seem life is a struggle, and even to put thoughts in your head. That's what we're talking about in this energy place. And to counteract that, we think of the other side. What brings you joy? What can we do to fuel ourselves? Can we grant ourselves space even? Sometimes we just need space and allow ourselves to breathe, because there's too much going on and there's too many things that are taking our energy from us. So always be very conscious if in a scenario, relationship, a place, for example, if you're looking for new places to live, really tap into your energy field and see how it makes you feel. Does it feel lighter, expansive, or does it feel the opposite end, constrictive, heavy? Sure signs from your body and your communication system of which direction you should go. If something's making you feel heavy, drained, tired, certainly a sign that that's something that's not where you should be. Okay, it's draining your energy. And when we are choosing a place to live, whether it be house or just a location, really need to feel into that and honor it. That's not a time to logic something. Well, this house ticks these boxes, but I really feel sick when I'm in there. Okay, that's a clue. That's a clue from your soul to you that that's a definite place you should not be. You're not going to be fed there. It's not the most conducive place for you. So we need to really pay attention to these things. And so when we're in this world right now that we really are blocked from so many things that have fed us and recharged our batteries in the past, we need to come up with new ways, right? New creative ways. And as I said, through meditation and connecting to places that have fueled you in the past, you can bring that energy in. And it's why when I begin this hour with you, I present a picture and really share this energy with you, because in so doing, I am sharing the energy with you of this beautiful healing and nurturing space on our planet There is so much to connect with here, but you all have your own magical place. So please take some time and reconnect to that energy. Go for a walk, get your energy moving. That's another thing when I'm working with people in this place of a void of energy, is we need to generate energy. So movement, yoga, dancing, put on some music and just allow your body to move as it feels it needs to move, because your body knows. It has so much intelligence and it wants so much to share it with you. So we just sometimes let your body do what it wants to do. So yes, put some beautiful music on. Maybe it's not the time for some headbanger type music, although that might get you going, but just something soothing and allow your body to move. Allow that trapped energy within you. So many of us just spend our day sitting and work. Types of work we have today are really conducive to just sitting, right? And in front of a computer. That is not doing us any good at all, because we're not freeing energy. We're not moving energy. We're just stagnating. We're allowing that energy to stagnate. And that also can deplete our energy. We're in that place of stagnation, which can be a physical place too, or within us. So again, so important to move and to breathe freely and allow your body to move. Yoga, cannot stress it enough. What a gorgeous practice and medicine to allow your body to move and to release that stress. And trapped energy within you. If you don't have access to an energy healer, do some yoga. That's what I said. After my partner had passed, and I spoke to the owner of my yoga studio, who was just beautiful in his honest compassion, said that really is awful. He didn't use those words. He used some other words. Now come do more yoga. No, I'll never forget that, because it was just a gift of realism. And I took his wisdom to heart, and I knew I'd be welcomed there, crying or not, as I practice hot yoga, which is gorgeous to stand in the back and cry and no one knows because you're just sweating to death. So anyway, I strongly encourage you to move your bodies and to feel into them. So many of us sitting in this world right now, again, with no access to things that really fuel us and bring us love and joy, this connection that we feel for others, being blocked from that connection is really jarring to our energy bodies, our emotional bodies. So we need to do something else in this moment. So remember to be kind to yourselves and do something, whether it be walking, moving, meditation. Like I said, now is the time, if you have not had this practice as a daily practice, to really embody this and to bring this in. And if you're not familiar with meditation, it simply is being present in the now and allowing your thoughts to disappear, allowing energy to fuel you. It's, again, we overcomplicate it. It can be very simple. I used to say it's just as easy as sitting your butt down and clearing your head, which I know can be a challenge, but just trying to keep things simple here. But I'm not going to dive into the other side, the too much energy right now, because I can see now that I've adjusted my clock that was behind, because it keeps on switching. We are running out of our hour already. I can't believe how quickly this time goes. I so enjoy this time with you, and always coming from a space of gratitude and love that you would share this space with me. But we will begin next week talking about the other spectrum, too much energy, which the world has called anxiety, but from my energy standpoint is a place of too much energy. But there's a specific reason why there's too much energy, but table that for next week. I would like to just share, yes, we're all in this amazing space right now in this world. And as I started out in the beginning, when we're talking about Mars going into the underworld and his sister, goddess of discord and strife above us, sandwiching us in, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of inner struggle. There's a lot of tension right now, a lot of frustration, and a lot of just being tired of this. I don't know what is one word that would encapsulate that. And as I share with my 11-year-old, I said, you know what, look, everything changes in life. Life is change. There's not one moment that's the same as any other. So today we're in this space. Let's just focus on today and what we can bring of joy from this day. And of course, she goes on to, as happened this morning, 3-hour tirade of how much she really dislikes school and she's not learning anything. But I'll spare you those 3 hours. That's basically it. And I remind her again, as I remind all of you, that everything shifts and changes in the world, and there is a reason for all of these shifts and changes. So let's just take care of ourselves and really, really be kind to ourselves and honor where you are in each moment of every day. And remembering that even if you cannot physically go to a place that feeds you, you can go there in your mind and you can connect to that energy. I always brought little flower spritzes of Hawaii back to me to Australia, because the smells of the flowers, the smells of the island would remind me that was my happy space in my non-happy moments. So maybe you have something like that in your home. But we really need to watch out for ourselves during these times. Too many of us falling into that space of no energy right now. So I really put that out there, to be kind to yourselves and to love yourselves and to just honor your journey, because this is your journey and every moment of every day is your journey. So as much as right now we could say this is a big poop emoji, for lack of a better word, it still is part of the journey and still should be filled with joy and love. So on that note, I send you aloha and love and blessings from this beautiful island, and from my heart to your heart, we are all one. Sending you love. Talk to you next week. Bye.